Hi guys, Scott Woodward for Champion Picks, and to talk to you about the Four Nations on Saturday. We have two great games, and look, before we talk about England and Samoa, most attention will be on Australia and New Zealand, which will be the second game on Saturday. And look, I don't think I've seen Australia and New Zealand field a weaker 17 than what they both are going to do on the weekend. And while we've got probably 11 of Australia's top players not in this lineup, it's also a very weak New Zealand side. And but from my point of view, it makes it much more interesting and certainly gives New Zealand a wonderful chance of causing an upset here. It's a major red flag for Australia, and to a large degree, a lot of their future is going to depend on these players that have been selected here. They will be filling 5 players running out on debut for Australia, and I can't ever recall that happening. So many new faces, and just to give you an idea, and obviously Australia has a lot of depth, and they'll certainly be long odds on and expected to win this easily. But it just doesn't happen straightforward. There's not going to be any combinations here, and a lot of the key players have been replaced by outstanding players. But you just don't replace some of the players that are missing and expect to get the same result. And just quickly, let me talk to you about some of them. Firstly, Billy Slater's not there, regarded as the best fullback in the world and arguably the greatest modern-day fullback of all time. He's not playing. Brett Morris is not playing, regarded as the best wingman, certainly for the last 5 or 6 years. I can't recall a better one. He's an outstanding finisher. He's not there. Greg Inglis is missing from the centres, and he's going to play fullback. He's an outstanding fullback and certainly has got a lot of strengths over Billy Slater, but he may not be as good an organising defender as what Billy Slater is, and Billy Slater's Billy Slater. But, you know, we can say that's like for like, so the fullback position is not lacking as far as ratings are concerned in that area. But nonetheless, it does cause a problem in the centres. The centres for Australia will be Michael Jennings and Dylan Walker, both outstanding and both flying machines. But under normal circumstances, that the centres would have been Inglis and they would have been Jared Hayne, and if not Jared Hayne, certainly Justin Hodges would have been coming in. So we have a new centre combination here, and pairing up with Greg Inglis at fullback, and that's a first. Also missing from this side, well, we've talked about Jared Hayne, and a lot of people think that he was the best player in the game. He's obviously missing. Justin Hodges, he's out injured also. He would have been in this side had he been fit, and he's from a God-given point of view, as talented as what rugby league players are. He's missing. The best player that I've seen since 2005, Jonathan Thurston, won the Dally M again, equal with Hayne. He's missing. Matt Scott, arguably the best prop in the world, he's missing with his prop club partner, Tamo. Andrew Fafita also, I think, would have been on the bench. He's not here. Probably the biggest, most God-given talented prop in the world. A massive loss for Fafita, in my opinion, as is Matt Scott. And, of course, the leader of the forwards, Gallen, is missing. So if we just run through those names, we're talking Slater, Morris, Inglis, Hayne, Hodges, Thurston, Scott, Tamo, Fafita and Gallen. They're just massive, massive names. They don't get any bigger. We're talking at least probably 2 future immortals in that list, and probably another contender. That's how big a loss it is for Australia. But Australia have come up with still an outstanding spine, and that's what will probably get them home here. With Inglis at fullback, Daly Cherry Evans moves to 6, a position that he's not familiar with. I haven't seen him play 6 at this level, or even at club level. Cooper Cronk will be the yardstick in this side. He will call the shots. He will be the on-field general. And if Australia win, it'll be because of Cooper Cronk's organisational brilliance that he will have with his club captain Cam Smith. So we've got Smith, Cronk, Evans, Cherry Evans and Inglis as the spine. They're all world-class players and outstanding, and they will go a long way to getting this side home. But I look at the Australian forwards and compare them with the New Zealand forwards, and this is where New Zealand have got a big chance I don't know how they put Sam Friday a prop. He's not a prop for mine at all. He won't hurt anybody when he hits the ball up. Aaron Woods, while he's a genuine prop in this side, and let me tell you, we haven't got many, he's very inexperienced at this level, and I'm yet to see him go well at international level. So, a little concern there with the starting props. The back rowers, both Scott and Ryan Hoffman, are both outstanding workers and tough guys, but international level back rowers for mine, they wouldn't be my starting back rowers. There's no way known I would have them as my starting back rowers. I can't see a lot of points coming from Hoffman, Scott, Friday and Woods in the forwards. I don't think they're going to scare too many people with the ball. Greg Bird hasn't played for many, many weeks with injury, and he's first up in the spell, and he's a class act and deserves his spot, but he has to be underdone, and I don't know how his timing will be. Look, the good thing for Australia is they've got a great spine. Robbie Farah's on the bench. He can also fill in the halves if there's a problem. Gura, Papali, Parker and Boyd. I don't know if Boyd will actually get a run, but it's an outstanding interchange bench for Australia, and I think that is one of their strengths. I have a big concern over their starting forwards. Daniel Tupou also for Australia. On the wing, he wouldn't have been my side. He played 3 State of Origins this year, and I thought he was poor in the whole 3 of them. He hardly got sighted at any stage in the 3 Origins, and to me, I don't think he deserves to be in this position. So, look, a few red flags there for Australia. They've tested their arm. Going to be interesting to see how they come up. As far as New Zealand is concerned, it's a very weak New Zealand side too, as far as I'm concerned, from some of the New Zealand sides that I've seen in past years. But I still think they'll be very, very competitive in this game with Australia, and I can only be on them at the plus in this game. Peter Hiku, I have a concern about at fullback. I don't think he's an international class fullback, but I think he will go okay. He's what I call a steady player. Jared Beale, I think, will come in for DWZ on the wing. I don't think he's an international class player either, Jared Beale. As a matter of fact, I expect him to be sacked at some stage at club level for St George during the year. Thomas Lulahai is filling in for Isaac Luke, who's out suspended at hooker. Once again, he's not my ideal international starting hooker, Thomas Lulahai, and I expect that he'll probably be spelled at some stage, maybe by Lewis Brown. Wouldn't even be surprised if Lewis Brown starts in this game. The Kiwis got an outstanding bench. I've mentioned Lewis Brown, Greg Eastwood, Martin Tapau. Got a massive rap on Martin Tapau, and Todio Harris can also come in and play a bit of 6 if there's a concern. But he's a good impact guy, Harris. Wonderful player for the Storm, and I expect that he'll go well in this game, like he did when they played early in the season. So, look, I think the forwards for New Zealand, absolutely delighted to see Jason Taumalolo in the starting side. He's an absolute excitement machine, can step off both feet, big, strong, gets over the advantage line, and he's shown under his new coach Green that he can play long minutes. Kevin Proctor on the right side, Mannering on the left side will be outstanding. I like Simon Blair as a prop. I think he's a much better prop than a back rower. And, of course, Jesse Bromwich. And if there's a better prop in the world than Jesse Bromwich, over the last 12 months, I haven't seen him. I like he just keeps hitting the ball up, gets over the advantage line, has got ball skills if they're required, and most importantly, he hardly ever makes a mistake, and I love that in a big man. Outstanding forward pack in New Zealand, but we expect them to always have a good, outstanding pack. But for New Zealand to win, Kieran Foran and Sean Johnson are going to have good games, and we've seen in the past now that they've combined very well, and they have a good little combination going. And if they both can play to their potential, they'll take this game right up to Australia, and I think it'll be very, very exciting. The two centres are both terrific centres, Sean Kenny-Dowell and Dean Vare. The only trouble is they both play on the right-hand side, so one of those guys are going to have to play on the left-hand side. Jason Nightingale, the other winger with Jared Beale. Jason Nightingale, Mr. Reliable, you know what you're going to get with him. I thought he might have even been a chance to play fullback. But overall, it's not the best New Zealand side I've seen, but I think it's a very, very good side. And given all the outs for Australia and the unknown combinations for Australia, I think New Zealand have got a very good chance in this game, and certainly got a very, very good chance of covering the line. It's the only bet I could have. Look, I think there'll be over 40 points scored in this game because of where it's played and the conditions of the ground and the fact that a lot of these guys won't have their defence right given the lack of football that they've had. So I expect it to be a high-scoring game. Just quickly looking at the earlier game, England and Samoa. England are expected to win this game and win this game by more than 3 tries. And while that their captain and outstanding forward, Sean O'Loughlin, is not playing, but he's expected to be back for the Australian game on the Sunday before the Melbourne Cup down at Amy Stadium, and I'm very much looking forward to that game. He'll be back for that game, and of course also they're lacking Sam Burgess, but they have still come up with an outstanding forward pack, and I think this pack will take them a long way. And at the odds that the bookies are betting on all these 4 teams, I have no doubt that England are the value in this competition, and I don't see anything between England and New Zealand, and you've just heard that I'm giving New Zealand a good chance of defeating Australia. So if you think that, you certainly have to have something on at the big odds for England to win this tournament outright. Just quickly looking at the side, I've got a concern over the halfback Matty Scott at this level. Look, I think he's a good little halfback. I just don't know if he's up to this level. I would have had a bit of a crack here, and I would have played the exciting Zac Hardaker, who's had an outstanding season in England, and I would have played him at fullback, and I would have moved Sam Tomkins up to 6. I think Sam's going to end up being the 6 anyway, and I would have taken the shot and moved him up to 6 and had Gaz Widdop as first receiver, and that would have been my 6 and 7, and had Hardaker into the side. But overall, it's still a good side. Most of the team is what you would have expected. Chamberlain Hall on the wings are both outstanding. Watkins and Shenton. Look, I think that's okay. I'm not sure if that's what I would have done, but they've shown that they're up to this class, and I think they'll certainly be fine for this game. But look at the forward pack. It's outstanding. George Burgess and James Graham. They're the starting props. It doesn't get much better than that. The workaholic Liam Farrell comes into the back row. Joel Tompkins has had a very good season, and Joe Westerman, who is on debut. Looking forward to seeing how he goes. As a matter of fact, England have got 4 guys having their first run for their country in this side. The 2 hookers, Josh Hodgson, who's playing for the Raiders next year. He will start at hooker, and he'll come on and be replaced by Daryl Clark, who just won the Man of Steel in England, and both very, very talented hookers, and I expect them both to go very well. The other guy that is on debut is, who have we've got Clark, Westerman, Hodgson, oh yeah, of course, Matty Smith. Matty Smith is having his first run for England. Now, the other guys in the pack, just like New Zealand, England have got an outstanding bench. We've talked about Daryl Clark. They've got Brett Ferris, who we know and has been proven at this level. Also, Chris Hill, who statistically is probably England's best prop forward. He's got outstanding meters, and he's got outstanding tackle counts, and he's got outstanding hit-ups. And he's an absolute must in this side, Chris Hill. I'm a little bit surprised he's not starting, but he's named at 17. And the guy, if you like, England have lost Sam Burgess, but they've also, let's just say, they've probably gained a new Tom Burgess. Tom Burgess, I'm not prepared to say that he won't end up better than all of them. He's been the late bloomer. When I say late, I think he's only 22, and he's going to be in this England side for a long, long while. And he's really only blossomed in the last 6 weeks or so, and I think he'll come on, and I think you'll know that he's in the game, Tom Burgess. He'll ensure that England have excellent go forward in this game, and for him to combine with his brother George, that's going to ensure that England will have great go forward in this game. Of course, Samoa always have good, strong, tough forwards who will go forward as well. But we look at the side, and in all honesty, Frank Pritchard is the only guy out of the 17 for Samoa who I could consider getting a berth in the England side. That'll just give you an idea of the gap between the two sides. I've got a massive rap on Tim Samoa. Tim, he's playing fullback in this game, and while I think he'll go very well at fullback, I'm not sure if that's his best position. The rest of the guys, there's a lot of defensive problems with them. Winterstein, Ricky Leotelli, Joey Lalula, Daniel Vito, they've all got problems in defence. And the 2 halves, Ben Roberts, who's had a terrible season for the Storm, Kyle Stanley, there's no organisational skills between those 2 guys. So I don't know what's going to happen on the end of tackle 5 with Samoa, I think they could have awful problems. Their forwards that we do know, Tagatisi and David Folongo, will give them good go forward. I'm sure of that. We know Frank Pritchard is a class act. Listen, our Mo will go very well for him, and Josh Maguire will ensure. I expect him almost to play 80 minutes. He's one of those guys that can keep going and keep hitting the ball up, and I doubt if there'll be a player in the Samoan side that'll have better statistics than Josh Maguire. So we look at the bench. It's just a so-so bench. And I really think England will win this game and win this game comfortably, despite the fact that they're going around without their captain, Sean O'Loughlin. And I think it will fit them very well when they play Australia in 2 weeks' time. So there it is for me. Look, England to win this game pretty comfortably by 3+ tries. And in the other game, I expect Australia to win, but I think New Zealand will really take it to them. And I can only be on New Zealand at the plus point start if you want to have an interest on the game. And I do think that they'll score over 40 points in that game. Enjoy the Four Nations. We'll be back next week to cover some more games in the Four Nations. Enjoy your Saturday footy. Talk to you soon. Cheers.